Everybody, interview again. Can you believe it? Kat Doss was nice enough to be on the show. Did I say your name right?
Hi. You did, Kat Doss. That's correct.
Right on. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being on. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You're on the show. First thing I get emails from people like are going when I say who's going to be on the show, etc. And I give them a list. They're like, "Oh, what does that person do? What does this person do?" If they don't really know, what is it
hmm
that you do? Let's just get it out of the way. What is it? What is it that you do?
First and foremost, I'm an actress and I'm also a filmmaker. Mainly, I make independent films, PSAs. I'm most importantly, recently, I'm producing a web series called Smoking. We just finished our first season. We had really positive reception at the LA Web Fest. One of our actors won an award for Best Actor, so yay, congratulations, Brent. And we have season two coming up, so we're very excited about season two.
Right on. So you got a lot of stuff that we could talk about then, right?
hmm
Okay, good. Let's just get into. So you said actress is your first and foremost.
Yes,
How
absolutely.
long have you been an actress?
I've been acting since I was a little kid. I was in school plays, and as I got older, my friends and I, we started experimenting with video cameras, just shooting each other. And then when I was in college, I majored in theater and film production. My parents are just like, oh my gosh, you'll never get a job this way. But so far, it's actually been working out pretty well for me. So my whole life,
Where are you from?
basically. I'm originally from Huntington, West Virginia. That's where I was born. So.
Is that a mecca of acting?
Oh, absolutely. No, there really isn't too much out there. There's a lot of really good theater, though, like the stage. You'd be surprised in these smaller towns the talent that perform in these local productions.
So in the household, was it cultivated? Was it like you knew when you were young and your parents were like, "Yeah, go for it," and let's put you in classes and stuff like that, or was it just something that you just sort of?
My parents have never told me not to do anything. They've always told me you can do whatever you want, but they also kind of left things up to me growing up. So really, I just auditioned for plays on my own and just kind of did it myself, basically.
What was the first play you were in?
Okay, so the first play I was ever in was actually The Three Little Pigs. And I was the third pig, the one whose house was made out of brick.
Oh, okay.
And
So
my parents made me feel like I was so special. Like, they made this little, I was in the hospital actually afterwards. And so they did a screening of this play. I had pneumonia, and they were like starring Kat Doss, the all important third pig.
ouch.
And I thought I was so special because of that. It
You're the
was funny.
survivor. That's why, right? The third pig.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It
You,
was it was cool. Yeah.
how, how has that first play that you're in influenced you in any way in your acting today? Does it, or is it just like, oh, well, that's the first thing I've ever done?
Oh yeah, of course. I always draw from there. No, I mean, I think that when you're a kid, when you're young, it really helps to kind of get confidence. If someone tells you you're good at something, you start to believe it, and so you work harder and become good. So I think the best thing you can do to a little kid is tell them like, "Oh, that's a great drawing. Do more," instead of telling them, "Oh, you suck."
That,
Give.
that's that that's interesting. Let's talk about that for 1 second. The whole American Idol and all that stuff. I've poked fun of it over the course of the show about
hmm
how they put people on that show to ultimately fail. They have to show the ones that are there's no way they're gonna go, and when these people get up there, they use them as the comedy relief. I think the way the TV show works, they basically exploit those people. But
Yeah.
somebody told the person, like, some people get up there and they're just bad. They're just not really good at singing. But at some point, someone had to tell them, yeah, go for it. And there's probably somebody in their past that is telling them sincerely to go for it because they feel like they don't want to crush that person's hopes and dreams. Although it's probably
The
better,
kind thing
the
to do.
kinder thing to do is like, let's just like break them down and just maybe let them cry right now instead of on TV. So you're saying that it's probably best to let those people go?
I think when you're a kid, and you're still growing, you have time to develop, you should definitely build confidence. But I think there's a point where if someone's, banging their head against a wall and, they're just not going to make it, you should maybe tell them,
Okay, so
you know,
it's time
well,
release, right? At a certain age.
yeah.
What age would you say that should be?
maybe once you're 18. I don't know.
That's good. If you can smoke cigarettes, you could take a hard hit.
You can have your dreams crushed.
You can have your dreams crushed. I like that. Okay, so you've done a whole lot of stuff. When you rattled off the list of things that you're into and you did not say modeling.
That's true. I've done a little bit of modeling, but I would never really identify myself as a model. I think it's fun. It's a little bit of extra money, but it's not my passion. My passion is definitely acting, the stage, being in front of a camera, working a camera, writing, that sort of thing.
Is modeling a prerequisite to becoming an actress? You know, like, 'cause there's headshots, all that kind of stuff, right? And that's all sort of borderline modeling, right? And
that's actually a good point. You do need to know how to work a camera. You need to know your angles. You need to know how you're looking in front of them. So I guess it helps. It's good experience for an actor.
So
Definitely.
How much modeling have you done? Have you been in any, like, you know, I looked online and, you know, everybody, it seems like everybody, you put someone's name in there that's an actress or an up-and-coming actress, and there's that model mayhem.
Oh, God, I know. I'm so embarrassed. That was when I was like 18 that I had that. I've done a little print, some stock photo stuff. I've modeled for some friends that are designers, and that's about all I've done.
Can I ask you about Model Mayhem for just one question?
I need to delete that.
We could delete this from the interview, but no, we can't. I already
don't
opened
worry.
the genie, the bottle here. The genie is out. I need to know this because, again, Mark the intern's over here laughing at me because we talk about these kind of things a lot. You know, like, we have people on, and we've seen a lot of Model Mayhem.
Oh, absolutely.
Is Model Mayhem? I'm of the mindset that Model Mayhem is kind of just like, you know, some thing on the internet that, oh, here's my chance. It's like MySpace. Like, everybody can have a MySpace. Everybody can have a Model Mayhem thing, right? Like, there's no, like, somebody saying, oh, yeah, you're good enough to be here, you're not good enough, right? Everybody's a model on Model Mayhem, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
good.
True.
Mark is wrong. Mark has been on my ass about this, saying that, no. People go on there and they sign up. Like, I was going to do one. I almost got to the point where I'm going to have my own Model
I think
Mayhem
you've got a
page.
very photogenic face. Yeah.
Now, no, I have a very big ego. Now, are you shitting me right now by saying that I have a very photogenic face, or are you?
No, you have very well-groomed facial hair, good bone structure.
Oh, really? See,
yeah.
I don't see bone structure. Is my nose big? Kind of too big.
Your nose isn't that big. No, you're good. And you've got good cheekbones, which is important for a model.
Kind of fatty, though. Okay.
Here, I've got fat cheeks, too. It's okay.
Enough about me. Let's get back to you. Now, you mentioned writing, I think?
Yes.
What have you done? Like, what kind of... When you mean writing, do you mean you write scripts, or do you write...
Absolutely. Like sketch comedy, that sort of thing. And I always like to have creative control, if I can, on a project I'm working on, because I think it's so important to be able to kind of steer your project and have your own voice. You know, if you look at, like, Woody Allen, you know, auteurs, a lot of them, they help with the writing, or they write the whole thing. They come up with their material, they come up with their own characters, and it's just so more genuine. You're actually seeing into someone's psyche. You're not just, you know, watching them perform lines someone else has written.
That's cool. Filmmaking. Let's just get into this one. You've done a lot of stuff. No, let's get into acting. Acting is your main one, so we'll talk about a little bit of acting in a bit. Filmmaking. What have you produced? Is that the right word? I'm not so hip with words.
That's good. Produce, yes. Well, my web series is sort of my big thing, and then I've just done some, like, sketch comedy videos for the internet, but I have a feature coming up that I'm producing, so I'm really excited about that.
That's cool.
It's going to be called Cookie and Pumpkin. It's a very dark, sort of almost comic booky, violent drama. It's going to have a twist, though, so definitely going to be worth it.
Violent drama?
Yes.
Okay, this is a perfect segue. You're good. This is awesome. You've done some music videos.
Yes.
You clued me in on those. One of them being this group called Endwell.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got this like it's hard rock. We'll listen to it here, and after we'll cut this in. We'll cut that video in right after we're done talking about it, because I think it's good, and we'll get to see you working. Right? There's this vampire vibe to it. Kind of goes along with your violent, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's some violence in it, and the music is pretty, it's hardcore. That's called hardcore, right? I guess is what you would call it, hardcore rock.
It's hardcore.
It's hardcore. It's good stuff. I think people will like this. But you're in this video. It's the period piece. Let's just call it that, right? Is that the right term for it? Period piece.
Yeah.
You're in this video and you end up being a vampire and you like fucking rage on some dudes, right? Okay. How was that making that? And how does a video making that? I've made a couple of videos myself. not as let's just say yours is very well produced, this video. And
you.
I'm sure, like it's obviously professional.
Yeah, I didn't produce that video.
Oh, okay.
I was just acting in it. The producer director on that was Scott Hansen. He does, oh my gosh, he's so prolific in the amount of music videos he's done. It's pretty amazing, just the work he's done. And he does great work. It was actually one of my first screen acting gigs that someone else had made. And basically, I remember when I was doing it, there's this one part where I have to like lean forward and fall off of a cliff. And it was the way they did it. I was expecting, like this huge safety setup, and it was just two guys catching me. And so I like held my breath and I agreed to do it, and I didn't get hurt. Amazingly, I survived. And then he's like, all right, we got to do it again.
How many takes did it take? Because at that point in the video...
2 takes.
Okay.
2 takes.
Because at that point in the video, there's a moment where you're like, what's happening here? And then you recognize. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, whoa, what's going on? And then it's cool. So let's get into this. This is End Well. What's the name of the track?
I can't even remember that. The video's like 2 years old.
It'll be on the blog after in the playlist. Let's get into it. This is End Well. Enjoy.
Thanks.
Okay. That's okay. Well, let's just go right back into it. That's where I'll just cut it in, and it should be cool. And maybe I'll even just talk about the name of it then.
Yeah, I should look up the name.
I have it here. I should have just went right to it. Mark the intern is failing right now because we have this deal. Me and Mark the intern have this deal. It's like when I start flailing and things start looking like I need help, like throw a life preserver, right? Like earlier, he was laughing at me because I was saying stupid stuff, like some of the questions he thought was the mayhem one he thought was dumb. It's called oh, it's not even here on the paper. Good thing I didn't look.
I can look it up.
Well, I'll find it later. I'll find it later. I have it. I downloaded it already, so I have it ready to play for the show. Keeping with that whole horror kind of vibe, I did post online for people to leave me questions. I don't know, did you see those? I
reposted
did you post it on Facebook?
Yeah, I posted on Facebook, so I think some of my friends probably.
Okay, I did get a few. I got 3, and I believe they probably came from your Facebook. If my Mark the intern's as smart as he says he is. Let's get into keeping with that. We got a question. I saw pics of you on the set of a horror movie. What's your favorite scary movie?
Okay, my favorite scary movie of all time would have to be Dead Alive by Peter Jackson.
That's interesting.
Anything with a zombie baby, just awesome.
Okay, zombies, vampires, all big stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Right now it's big, but I think it's been big for a few years now, right? You've done some work for MTV.
Yes.
You played a vampire in that show Death Valley.
Yes, I did.
That one had zombies in it, right? Wasn't that vampires, zombies, and werewolves or something like that?
It was, yes.
Okay, I have to admit I don't watch much TV. I have watched when that show first came out. I watched a few episodes of it. It didn't keep me interested very long enough to want to go every week to see it. Is that still going?
Show.
Is it still?
I don't know. I had a very small I was there for a day of shooting essentially. Basically, it was really cool. We were turning this girl into a vampire, so it's just kind of this scene where we're biting her and kind of bringing her into the world of vampires. Sort of like an Innocence Lost kind of scene. I think I got cast because if you can tell by looking at me, I kind of have that vampire look going on.
That was going to be my next question. If you are Caucasian, white,
yes,
and I don't know if this is wrong to say, you are quite white, right? I mean, I don't know. Your complexion is pale is the wrong
alabaster.
You're white. You're white. You're white.
Yes.
I just trying to fuck.
ghost-like.
Marcus, do you feel? I mean, you have features. You're skinny. They're not fat vampires, right? Do you feel typecasted? Like you did a vampire in that video. In the video, you do this vampire thing here. Are you being typecasted in a way when it comes to that kind of stuff? And do you care?
Occasionally, I am typecast. I get a lot of vampire roles. I also get a lot of girl next door cute roles, just because I have that sort of innocent kind of persona, like the big kind of eyes and that sort of thing. But at the same time, I think as an actor, you've got to kind of get used to that, because everyone's typecast, and you should really work with your type instead of working against it, I think.
Right, like Christopher Walken plays the same person every time. It's different.
Exactly. He's always like scary.
He's always that guy, right? Yeah, just quickly, just MTV thing you did. You mentioned something about Disaster Date. Is that one of those? Is that one of those like, oh, you're on a date and one of the people person is an actor, and you ruin someone's life?
It was just a cute little prank show. I was actually at Walk and Roll eating noodles, and this casting director came up to me and he was like, "Hey, do you want to be on a show on MTV?" And I was like, "Sure." So I came in and I read for it, and basically I just pranked my friend on there. What I did was, it was my friend Sammy. I didn't tell her what was happening, and so she just goes on this date with this actor who's basically just kind of the date from hell, and it was really funny. It was cute. She was a little mad at me, but I think she had fun. So,
how do you get your friend to go out on a date with somebody for a show? I've always wondered. You see these shows, and there's that point where you never see the pranker say to the pranky, "Oh, next week, hey, I know this dude. He's really cool. You should check him out." How does that go down? At some point, you have to get your friend to agree to go on a date with somebody, right?
Yeah. To be honest, I had to be a little bit tricky about it. So I just told her that, this guy was really nice and that he worked with me and that she'd be doing me a favor by going out with him. That way she wouldn't cancel. Because she's not really normally someone who goes on blind dates. So I just kind of played it like she was doing me a favor. That way she'd wait for him and that sort of thing. So I think it worked.
One last question on this. I'm just very interested in this because these shows have always, they trip me out. You obviously have to get paid.
Yeah.
Right. Does your friend get paid too, or are you signing something saying that, you get paid and it's up to you, the pranker, to cut your friend in? Or does the friend after get told, hey, guess what? Thanks for being on the show. Ah, ha, 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 it was fun. Here's a check.
Oh, they get prize money for
so
being
it's a prize. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Interesting. Okay. You've done some commercials?
I recently did a GoDaddy commercial. It was a national commercial. It won their commercial contest, so that was pretty cool. Let's see, what else? We did a commercial for actually, it was in 2 commercials for the Crash the Super Bowl contest for the Doritos people. Yeah. And then I did some local ones back home, but I'm really focusing more on film and that sort of thing.
Before we talk about your upcoming films, and I do want to talk about smoking.
Okay.
I did watch that. We will talk about that.
Okay.
You've done a bunch of PSAs and stuff like that. I saw on YouTube this anti-SOPA stuff and the anti-internet regulation, basically, in a nutshell, right? That's what all that is, right? Well, that's the thing that nobody's talking about right now, right?
It's sort of we want, I'm very pro net neutrality. I feel like anything that could kind of take away power from small independent websites, self-publishers. As a self-publisher myself who creates my own content, I just feel like that's where the power should be. And so I'm anti-SOPA, CISPA, anything like that.
Yeah, I get it. I don't like that at all. Nope. 2 questions. 1, GoDaddy was a sponsor of that crap at one point, right? And then they backed out of it. Wasn't there a big controversy? Was it GoDaddy?
I don't know. I hadn't heard anything about that, actually.
I thought at some point, I might be wrong, but I could have. They might have been.
I know Wikipedia backed the anti-SOPA thing, and there were a lot of big sites.
I think GoDaddy might have been, and there was a big protest. Like people were ready to bail on them, but really? It doesn't matter. Nobody's talking about it anyways. So if you don't remember, then there's no point in asking how you feel about that. I'll tell you the truth. When it comes to the government, I don't trust them, and they're going to do whatever. But I was all for the let's stop that kind of crap because my world basically is the internet as well.
Absolutely.
Um, what do you think about the fact that nobody's talking about it now? Like, I mean, it's nothing dies. They just stop talking about it for a little while, and they just keep trying and trying and trying until something gets passed. Are you afraid that people aren't paying attention because now there's an election going on and etc. Like people are just not going to care. Like those kind of things could sneak in under the radar right now.
I think people are really going to care when they start noticing the repercussions of this legislation after it gets passed. And I just hope that it isn't too late to change things once people start realizing little sites are getting shut down. I've already seen some stories about websites kind of getting shut down based on bigger companies maybe seeing them as competition. And so finding ways to kind of use these anti-piracy things for censorship, essentially. And I'm very anti-censorship.
Yeah, me too. We walk a very fine line here, and it's every day we wake up wondering, oh, is today the day that the government's going to come in and swoop in and take us away? It's messed up. Now,
it is.
Speaking about the government being messed up, they tortured people, and you did a PSA where you are being waterboarded. I got a question via the blog, a little ask her a question thing today. It was an anonymous user. They chose not to leave their name. The first person, that first question, by the way, was from an L or Ellie.
Oh yeah, Elle's a good friend of mine,
okay.
So that's how I knew it was from my Facebook.
Okay, so this one, they didn't leave a name.
Okay.
Is it true you were actually waterboarded during the filming of that PSA or commercial?
Yes, that is absolutely true. That was terrifying for me. Basically, we set it up, and we were originally going to fake it, but we realized it was just kind of cheesy, and so I agreed. I was like, the only way we're going to really get this shot is if we actually waterboard me. So we did. You can see it in the outtakes where, like, I'm fighting and kicking, and one of the shot we actually ended up using, I broke my restraints on my feet, so we kept part of it in, but we had to cut it before I'm just, like, completely, like, I flip over, because it's like drowning. It's like suffocating. It's horrifying.
Yeah, it's pretty.
But horrifying. It's for a good cause, so. That's
cool. You got to take one for the team sometimes, right? Have you ever seen Children of the Corn?
Yes, I have actually.
That is the only movie in my whole entire life. We were talking about horror flicks. It's a horror flick.
Mm-hmm.
That is the only movie in my whole horror movie that in my whole entire life I couldn't watch. Like I've never watched the whole thing. I get to the point where you are to believe that the dog gets killed. It's like right at the beginning. There's this dog. It's like, oh, the dog runs off, and oh, the little scarf that's wearing is now like bloody, kind of on the side. Anyways, never in my whole life could I sit through the whole thing.
You wouldn't like Needful Things then.
Oh yeah.
There's a scene where a dog gets skinned and hung up. It's awful. It's another Stephen King movie, actually.
Well, I might be able to see it. I just know that was the movie that really bugged me out. Like,
if you love animals, you probably don't.
Maybe I won't. Let's talk about your web series. This is really what you've got going on.
Yes.
Can I say this is your baby?
My baby?
Maybe? Yeah. Is that the right word? Your baby? So this is something that you are producing?
Yes, along with Jerome Berglund. He's a phenomenal writer and very talented. And so together we've been, just everything. It's kind of self-produced, self-created, self-shot. And a lot of the actors are our friends, and they're just working so hard for us and really just doing everything they can to make the show happen. Very grassroots effort.
It's a web series, right?
Yes.
And by web series, it's something that you produce and then put on YouTube?
Yes, correct. And a couple other websites.
Which is the website that you like the most? Are we talking Vimeo? Is that what the other ones are and stuff like that?
Vimeo I like because it's high quality, but YouTube's getting higher and higher quality, and it's got better SEO. You get more views. People are used to it. So I think YouTube is probably my favorite platform. I don't want to play favorites, but
if you were to tell somebody, I have a web series, this is where you find it, you say YouTube?
I would, but yeah, I'd tell them all the other links too.
It's a web series. How does a web series work? I watched, you have one season out. I know you have another one coming up here soon. Mm-hmm. How does a web series work? Is it weekly? I say I have a series, I do a weekly show. Is it weekly? Are you deadlines, or do you just put one together when it's done, you put it out there, say episode 2 is available. Is there scheduling? How does all of that work?
I think it's sort of like TV where comes out regular intervals. It can be different for everyone, but for us it's weekly, and then we have off time. Like, with the show, it'll be on for a couple months and then you have a hiatus and then you come back on after you've shot another season. So that's how we do it.
Yeah, so you have one season, and a full season consists of how many episodes?
I think our last season was 8 episodes. I don't want to say that for sure.
I think it was 7 or 8. I watched them. I watched the entirety. It's easy to watch.
Thank
they're
you.
They're 3, 4, 5 minute.
Yeah,
episodes,
they're pretty
right?
short.
It's called Smoking. It revolves around smoking cigarettes, I guess. I mean, it's not the.
It's really about the relationships between the characters, but each episode is supposed to take place during a smoke break. So while they're sharing a cigarette or someone's getting caught smoking a cigarette, that sort of thing, you sort of learn something about their lives, or they have a conflict, that sort of thing.
What does smoking have? Like, what is it about smoking that made this happen? One of the things that we talk about, I used to smoke cigarettes a long time ago. Not so cool anymore. It's not really the coolest thing. And, like, people smoking cigarettes outside of a restaurant aren't necessarily the cool kids anymore.
That's true. And actually, I don't smoke. Some of our actors don't. Jerome smokes like a chimney. So from his experience as a smoker, I think that influenced his writing pretty heavily. But I think that's kind of what our draw was. That's why we wanted to do it. We wanted to kind of show this habit that people just don't do anymore. It's kind of taboo. It's sort of like a guilty pleasure. So they kind of hide it. And, you kind of see one character is kind of getting sick from it. You see how it's affecting people's relationships. And, it's almost like a lost art in a certain way, like even how to smoke a cigarette. Like there's this great monologue where one of the characters is explaining how to smoke. And, for my character, it's a stress reliever. You kind of see why people smoke as well. But you also kind of see the negative effects too.
As an actress, should I be calling you an actor?
You can call me either.
Is actress not necessarily as the right thing anymore?
Some actresses don't like to be called actresses just because they prefer a gender-neutral term, but I'll go by actor or actress.
As an actor, let's just use that. As an actor that doesn't smoke, what do you do to be able to come off as a smoker? Because I'm assuming as an actor, you want to portray the character that you're playing as true as possible. What does an actor need to do to be able to pull off smoking a cigarette correctly, or to make it look like you are a smoker when you're evidently not?
Well, for me, I just practiced a lot with the fake cigarettes. We didn't want to smoke real ones because we didn't want to get addicted, and there are people who had health concerns and that sort of thing, or people who had quit who didn't want to get back into it. So some smoke real cigarettes, some smoke fake ones, but for the most part, it was really just practicing, a lot of practice, and asking smokers, like, show me how to do this, please. And I feel like at first, maybe our smoking wasn't as convincing as it could be, but I think as the show progresses, we get better, hopefully.
Yeah, I was going to say that. First episode, first 1 or 2, there's a scene where you're in like a shed, or maybe
yeah, that's awful.
And there's just some. It's weird. Do you hear that a lot? Like, do people? I mean,
From
it's YouTube.
smokers,
People are pretty
yes.
vicious on YouTube.
They're like, this isn't how you do it.
Yeah. How do you handle that part? I don't look at comments on YouTube. I don't look at them.
I always read my comments.
People are vicious.
Yeah. But I take it with a grain of salt. I want to know what people are thinking when they watch my show. I see constructive criticism is really helpful. I think that made us feel like, okay, we need to like practice more and get better at our fake smoking.
How about outside of YouTube? And does this web series idea, our show, we felt as if we're on the internet basically, and we felt that we needed to find an avenue to reach people that will never be on the internet. And so we sort of went to local TV here in Hawaii, and the way that we use local TV here is in the attempt to get people that watch this TV all day. As you know, I'm very pro not TV, and so don't own one, etc. It's kind of it's double-edged for us because I don't want to be on that because I'm sort of anti it, right? But I'm hoping that those people at some point will move away from it. And so we produced the TV portion of the show. we used to just stream online. Does a web series like yours reach outside of the internet? And if so, are you doing? Or how do you do that?
I think that submitting your work to festivals is really important. We screened at the LA Web Fest. I mean, most people there were web people, but really, I think it's just a matter of also doing projects like films that will make it to theaters, so people can see your stuff there too.
Interesting. Do you intend to ever try to be outside of the web series, or is web series how smoking is going to be?
I think that for now, smoking is going to be a web series. We were thinking about compiling it into a film form and just sort of kind of like some sort of like compilation, I guess, of like all the episodes, just to tell the coherent story, just to release for people who don't necessarily
Like
have
a
the
DVD
internet
or something like that?
Yeah, something like that, or
That's
maybe
cool.
even a festival release. Yeah.
How do you make money off of something like this? Is this not a moneymaker, or is this pure art?
This is pure art. We lose money on this, actually. I make my money on my other gigs. So what I do is I take money that I make acting and I try to invest it back into my own projects, which are more just about the love of creating, about getting out there and, reaching people, I think. And I feel like in a lot of ways our show is non-traditional in the sense that we're not showing inexplicably rich health. Sorry, my screensaver just came on.
That's right, you're still there.
We're not showing these inexplicably wealthy, privileged people. We're showing people that are struggling, people that are real people in LA, sort of a different side of the Los Angeles creative scene.
You live in LA, you make movies, you do web series, you do commercials, do all kinds of stuff. You must be around actors a lot and the actor world. This leads into the third and final question that we got on the blog from a Jen. I don't know if this might be your friend or not. If it is, this might be interesting. I heard you used to go out with James Franco. What is it like to go out with the movie star?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Is Jen your friend?
I think that is a friend of mine, actually, yes.
And is this friend being nice to you first?
Well, here's the thing. I didn't go out with James Franco. I went on a single date with James Franco. And it was kind of a disaster date in and of itself, I guess. I met him. I was working on the premiere of Your Highness, and I was escorting him and, Danny McBride down the red carpet. And he was like, it was a really fun premiere. He had a Polaroid camera. He was taking pictures of people. Everyone was just snapping pictures, and I was just kind of joking around with him. And then one of his people asked me for my number.
That right there is some good stuff right there.
Yeah, so I was like, sure, why not? This will be fun. And he lives in New York, so he was texting me. So he's like, when I come back in, let's go on a date. And I was like, okay, why not? So the night of the date came, and he kept pushing it back, like later and later. I assumed he was working. So I get there, and he just seemed really, I guess, I don't know, tired. Like maybe, like kind of out of it a little bit. And it was just kind of, like, it was really awkward. So I felt like it was...
No,
I don't want to say that, but...
No. Mark is laughing at me because it's like you're in an awkward spot. You're an actor.
It was an awkward sort of evening. I kind of, like, just finished sipping my coffee and just got out of there. Because he was kind of just staring at me like he wasn't really saying anything.
Wow,
so it was just like, it was great meeting you. Gotta go.
Wow, that's hot. What is it like? Let's get off of him because we could probably, he could probably sue us all and be like, just take us all out.
He could buy us all. Yes.
He's going to be my big company that's going to wipe me off the face of the earth, right? No, he seems like a cool dude. I'll get that out there. James, you seem like a cool dude. I think a lot of people like you, and if you got a bad rap, it's unfounded. That movie, Your Highness, was funny though. That was a funny fucking movie. I liked it a lot. He's a cool cat. Let's just say that. I think he's on my... He's
very talented,
he's on my cool list. But before we get completely away from him, I just need to know. Mark is when you said that his people came up to you to get your photo, like he basically had his handlers come and
his handler
get you, they pull you into the fold. When you said that, Mark looked at me and gave me a dirty look and shook his head like he's never going to do that for me. And and what was it? What is that moment when another man, like regular people, like regular people, we're going to say James Franco is not a regular person in this case, and for the sake of conversation. For a regular person, if I was in a bar with my friend Mark, and I said, Mark, that chick over there, she's pretty cute, I'd like to talk to her. And Mark said to me, I'm going to go over there, and I'm going to hook it up for you. If he went over there and tried to hook it up, girls would be like, fuck you, like, who is this? This is weird, this is really strange. What is it like to be in that situation? Is there, like, ooh, James Franco is a star, and then it's like, oh, I gotta like look past that, or what?
That's an interesting question. I think for me, I was just really intrigued. Like, I used to work for my school paper, and I would interview a lot of people, and I got to interview some artists, and I always just thought it was really interesting to get to know, like, what's going on in this person's head. So I think for me, it was more like curiosity, like, what's he like?
That's
when
awesome.
I see someone's work, I want to know what they're like as a person.
That's awesome, because you never get to hear these stories. This is good stuff. That right there is good TV. I love it. I love it. Jen, thank you for asking that question. Before I let you go, where can people find you online?
People can find me on the Smoking Show YouTube channel. You can check me out on IMDb, Kat Doss, or follow me on Twitter at Kat Doss. If you're my friend, you can friend me on Facebook. I guess those are the main places. I also have a website, katdoss.weebly.com, but it's still kind of under construction. And then I have a blog too. So
very cool, very cool. All that information will be on our blog when the show comes out, etc. So along with your PSA, we'll put all that stuff on there so everybody can get a really good look at you and what you've done. I think you've done a whole lot of cool stuff. There are just a few other questions that I'd like to ask you that I ask everybody that comes on the show, because I think it gives me a good sense of what this person is about. There's 5 of them. Are you ready?
Okay.
Unicorns, are they overrated?
No, not at all. Even better if they have wings.
Favorite alcoholic beverage?
My favorite, I don't really drink that much, but I'd have to say Manhattans.
That's a good one. That's a good one. It's classy.
Yes.
You said you don't drink very much. I'm assuming asking you if you've ever fallen down drunk is probably not it.
When I was younger, actually, I have to admit, I have fallen down drunk before. Yes.
What besides cheese? If you had to have a pizza with one topping with cheese, what would the one topping be?
Green peppers.
And what
little known, but delicious.
Yeah, they're really good. And lastly, your favorite curse word.
Fuck.
That's nice. Thank you for saying it with such force, because you really get a sense that you're for real on that one. When people come on here and they're like, oh, shit, it's like, you don't really like that word, do you? You like that one? Yeah, that's funny. That's my go-to one. I'm accused of saying fuck too much. This show, it's classic, right? It is never gonna die. This show has been often described as the fuck show because of me. Before you go, will you cut like a little bumper for the show? Like, hey, this is Kat Doss. You're watching Beneath Everything with Ronnie Rocker, and you can feel free to elaborate in any way if you'd like.
Absolutely. Hey, this is Kat Doss, and you're watching Beneath Everything with Ronnie Rocker.
Nice. Okay, is there anything else you want to talk about, like that we can touch on? We can spice in if you want.
Well, I wanted to bring in my bunny, but I don't know if that's like unprofessional.
No, this is perfect. Let me go with this for a second. We'll just because we'll cut this in.
Okay.
Most people watching this show would not be expecting this, but they love this kind of stuff. I think you have a rabbit.
Yes.
Can we see the rabbit?
We can. Her name is Jezebel. She's kind of shy, but I'm gonna bring her.
Please.
All right. let me make the camera angle a little bit lower because she'll be sitting on my lap.
Okay.
Here you go. Jezebel. You sweetie. You want to be on TV?
Funny.
This is my rabbit, Jezebel.
Well,
And there she goes. Say hi, Jezebel.
wow, that was a hairy rabbit.
Yes, she's very fuzzy.
Is that a particular kind of rabbit?
She's a lion head rabbit. She's very tiny.
Do
Say
rabbits?
hi, Jezebel.
Hey, Jezebel. Do rabbits have tails?
Yes, she has a little black tail. She hopped away now.
It's all right. What do you feed a rabbit?
You feed them hay and rabbit pellets and occasionally fruit.
Do they smell bad?
She won't eat carrots. She hates carrots.
Really?
Yeah.
So is that just a Jezebel thing, or is
It's
that
just Jezebel. Most rabbits love carrots, but she's very bougie. She only likes blueberries and really fancy fruits.
what is the other carrot? There's another kind of carrot. It's not turnip. It's
Parsnips?
Parsnips. Will she eat a parsnip?
I don't think she'd eat a parsnip. She's got a sweet tooth. She only likes hay and sweet fruits. So she's very picky.
Rabbit isn't.
Carrots, but what is it?
Rabbits aren't a normal. Not maybe normal isn't a usual pet, right? Like when someone comes over and they meet your rabbit for the first time, are they like, oh, like when people come over and you have a dog, it's like, oh, a dog.
Yeah.
Oh, pet it. Oh, let's go talk in the other room. But you have a rabbit. People walk in. Is everybody like rabbit season? Like, oh, we got to touch it, and because like right now I'm like,
bunny,
whoa, God,
and they want to play with her, and she's very shy, but like basically I just tell people you got to slowly come over to her, but she's also very sweet. So if you're really sweet and quiet and you come over to her, she's very social. She loves to get petted, so she loves attention, but you just have to be quiet about it.
Very cool.
Yeah, she's so fluffy. I love her.
She's pretty cool.
But yeah, I got her because she's quiet and it's good for apartments. Because dogs, I just feel like they need more space to run around. But a rabbit, like exploring just this apartment is like a huge wonderland to her. So,
is Jezebel a free-wheeling rabbit in your house, or is it a caged animal?
Well, she has a hutch that she stays in, but she has little rabbit stairs so she can come out when she wants. But she likes to hide in there most of the time. She'll come out for a couple hours and then she'll go sleep. She's a big sleeper. So.
That's neat. How do you clean a rabbit?
Rabbits actually are self-cleaning. They clean themselves, and they don't have sweat glands, so they don't smell bad. They're really clean pets, so they're awesome in that respect.
There's no bath giving or anything like that?
No, she hates water. So.
Oh, okay. Did you have to resist wanting to like give it a bath? Like, it's cute, give it a bath, like small dogs, you want to give them baths?
Well, I looked it up, and you're just not supposed to.
Okay.
And since she's never smelled, I feel like, I guess because she doesn't have the same sebaceous glands that like a sweating animal would, which I think is what make people and, like dogs and stuff smell bad, so they have to shower and stuff. But I just like to brush her. I brush her every day, so she loves getting brushed. It's like her favorite thing in the world. So.
Can I ask you one more question? Can I ask you one more question?
Sure.
What's the nerdiest thing about you?
The nerdiest thing about me? That's a hard one. I want to give a good answer for this.
I think. I'm not in a rush. You take your time.
Let's see.
Like, do you do like techie kind of stuff? Are you on the computer? Like, I mean, do you like? I mean,
I'm nerdy about like cameras and film equipment, things like that. Like, I get really excited and I'll start talking like film with people. I'm kind of a film nerd. I like weird kind of like old movies that you haven't heard of, and I really like cheesy old movies. I think those are my favorite. Like, I absolutely just love like anything you'd see on Mystery Science Theater. Like, Manos: The Hands of Fate is probably one of my favorite. Anything by Ed Wood. I just love kind of weird, quirky old films. I'll just sit and watch them for hours. So I guess maybe that's the nerdiest thing about me. And I also really like reading comics, but I'm more into the indie comics than like the superhero comics, like Sandman, Garth Ennis, that sort of thing. So
interesting.
I guess that makes me kind of a nerd. I was kind of a school nerd growing up.
Everybody's got a nerd in them.
Yeah,
something
I think so too.
That's cool. Okay, well, Jenny. Huh?
Oh, I was gonna say, I think there's kind of this, like, I don't know, you almost see these actresses that you ask them if they're a nerd, and they just start, like, rattling off, like, this list of, like, things that make you cool in the nerd world. And unfortunately, I can't say that I'm cool enough to do that. Like I don't really play World of Warcraft or anything like that. Like I wish I did though. I wish
Yeah.
I was that cool.
You thought, so nerd
I feel
is
like now
cool now,
nerdy
right?
is cool. Yeah,
Nerd is cool,
nerd
right?
is cool.
That's
I think
interesting.
so.
I'm not so nerdy in those kind of. I can't play video games and those kind of nerdy things. But I'm kind of an older dude, so I think it's just
I love video games, but I suck at shooters. I have no depth perception, which is part of the reason I'd never be accepted in the nerd world.
Oh yeah.
Like I try playing Call of Duty, and I'm like the person getting killed all the time. Everyone's like, "Cat," you know.
So what we've learned is depth perception is a prerequisite to being allowed to be in the nerd world, right?
Evidently,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's why they all have the glasses.
Yeah. Oh, makes
Yes,
complete sense.
I do wear glasses though. So
Oh yeah. Do you have contacts
it
on?
just doesn't help. Yeah, I have contacts in right now. I should be wearing my glasses, but
Do you do contacts because, as an actress, that's just.
I like to see people's eyes, and I think people like to see your eyes when you're acting. Not always, but I think it's nice because that's kind of where the emotions and the feelings come from. So.
Do you get noticed out? I know I said one last question, but I'm asking more. I hope you don't mind. Are you in a rush?
I'm enjoying our talk, honestly.
Okay, good. Right on. Me too. This has been fun. Do you get noticed?
What do you mean by noticed?
Like on the street? Like you'll be at like, let's say
like
Whole Foods.
recognized for the stuff I've been in?
Yeah. Like,
occasionally. I do, but it's so rare. I'm always just like, thank you for like knowing who I am.
So nice, yeah. Where does this usually happen? For me, here in Hawaii, it's always at like Walmart or when I'm eating something in a place where it's like this. Here in Hawaii, everybody's giant, and everywhere you eat, you have to seek healthy food here. So everywhere you eat is like a lot of stuff, and it's always when I'm like got like a plate that just is like, don't take a picture of me with this plate, or Walmart or something like that. Where does it happen for you?
I think the airport. For some reason, because people have nothing better to do than sit around and study the people going through the airport.
That's the life of a Hollywood actress, though, right? Like if you look good and you just are obviously not don't go to the airport in like sweatpants looking all at it, right? Or
actually, you do. That's the bad
busted, yeah. You get seen in the sweatpants, then, yeah.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah. Do you ever get people that notice you go, "Oh, I thought you were a vampire"?
I've heard that joke once or twice. Yeah.
I get
I think my friends mainly.
Yeah. Okay. I get the one whenever I'm noticed. A lot of times, they're like, "Wait, you're not drunk off your ass right now?" Because during the show I drink a lot, so it's like, "You're not drunk right now." What happened? Are you feeling okay? I get that a lot when it happens to me. It's strange, but yeah, it must be. What is it like living in LA? I have family there. I go there often, but it obviously is a different world than everywhere else.
It's not like you'd expect. I think people expect this certain level of glamour, but
that's not there, right?
It's actually LA is mainly full of people who work really hard and actors you haven't heard of, people who do like 18-hour days working on crews. There are a lot of people out here who are just struggling to make ends meet, honestly, and I think that's the real thing I wasn't expecting when I moved out here.
You've been there for a long time?
Like maybe 2 years now. So not too long. I came here as soon as I could.
When you came to Hollywood, I'm going to say, I guess, Los Angeles. Do you say Hollywood? Is that the wrong? Hollywood, Los Angeles.
Hollywood, Los Angeles, same difference.
Same small.
Hollywood's just an area in Los Angeles.
When you came to Los Angeles, were you already doing all this stuff, or,
I was doing local commercials. I'd done a music video and some student films, but I was ready to do more serious work. I sort of realized in Virginia Beach, where I went to college, there wasn't going to be that much work out there for an actress other than some stage stuff, but I really wanted to get into film. I fell in love with film, so I knew I had to move to LA.
When I was younger, I lived in Virginia Beach. This is a long time ago. Must be a lot different. Do they still not open stores on Sunday?
I think for the most part they do actually open stores on Sunday. I know alcohol is very heavily controlled. They have the ABC stores in Virginia. There's actually this callback line during Rocky Horror Picture Show that's like, except in Virginia, everything's illegal in Virginia.
Yeah, when I lived there, it just seemed really like, oh, everybody stays home on Sunday or they go to church and that's it.
Yeah, very conservative, very quiet. But you know, there's a scene of young people that like to hang out on the beach and stuff. So
Pretty
that's
cool. Interesting. Yeah, I need to
I
get
look
out there again just to see it. Must be a lot different.
pretty.
Yeah. It's beachy, yeah? It's a beach town. It's kind of like Hawaii.
Yes, it's
Like
very
it's like
beach
total
town, very
tourism,
flip
yeah.
flops everywhere kind of thing.
That's cool.
Is that how it is where you are in Hawaii?
Oh,
Near the
yeah.
beach?
It's sadly, here's the weird thing. I live really close to the beach. One of the weird things about Hawaii, a lot of people think this, and they come, you know, the industry here is really tourism. If you're not in tourism, you're not making, you know, you're in the wrong business here.
Yeah.
And if you're a kid growing up here and you want to live here and you want a job, then you have to think about working in tourism in some shape or form. You know, you got to speak Japanese or whatever. One of the things that trips people out here, that local people, the people that live here, is the theory that people believe that because it's like a beachy, you know, you're at the beach. Basically, everybody lives at the beach in some shape or form. It's only right there. That walking around with your shirt off and no shoes is okay. You know, like nowhere, like you know, like people that live here, you know, that may wear slippers. You know, like they might do that. You know, in their like neighborhood, but they're not like wearing slippers to go to the mall per se.
Yeah.
Whereas tourists come and it's like, oh, I'm gonna walk into like Sears barefooted. You know, and it's like, you know, it's socially acceptable. Now, nobody, you know, it's tourists, so nobody says put some shoes on because you want them to be happy, right?
Yeah.
But it's one of the things. It's not like that there, yeah, in Virginia. It's not that like in LA. People will tell you get out of here if you're doing something wrong in LA,
you know,
right?
in Virginia, I think there are a lot of people who walk around like in their beachy clothes. But you definitely have the stores that don't like it, where they'll be like, no wet bathing suits, that sort of thing. Which, I mean, if you're dripping wet, you shouldn't be walking in there anyway. Someone's got to clean that up, you know?
Just common decency is what I think. You know?
Yeah.
It's like put a shirt on.
Yeah.
You know? Right on. All right, well, I've kept you, like an hour almost. Oh, my God, it flew by.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to interview me.
No, thank you very much for wanting to be on. I think that's really cool. You know, like
one of the
Huh?
I enjoy the bands you bring on. They're the French Cassettes. Yeah, I love them.
That? They were really cool dudes to talk to. Like I thought they were really cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited about your upcoming one too.
So. Oh, you like them? Here's the thing. Do you like them? Like,
well, I found out about them through you because you were talking about them. So
that's cool. You should follow them on Twitter and tell them that because I'll tell you what, they are probably the most underrated band right now. Like, really? They don't, you know, look at their followers. They got like 2,000. You know, you tell anybody, I was super excited, you know, like I've been listening, I've had, you know, I went when their past 2 albums came out, I was like waiting for the day. And, you know, I told people like Mark, I told him, I told like, you know, people in my inner circle, I was like, oh my God, Screaming Female said yes to be on the show. And they were like, who? And I was like, what? Like, how do you not know? They are the most underrated band right now. The lead singer, her name's Marissa. You've obviously listened to them a little bit.
Yeah.
Is amazing at playing guitar. You have to, like, go to YouTube and really delve into some of, like, the live stuff that they have there.
Okay.
And she's young, and I don't know, I think she is amazing. She's top 10 guitarist.
Strong female performers.
Yeah,
so.
She's the strongest out there. She's one of my favorites, for sure. The band itself is amazing. I'm glad that you like them. That's cool.
I do. I feel like I've learned a lot from you about just really cool bands I never would have even thought of. So
they're the week after that, there's this band called Mountain Tamer that I'm having on. Really cool dudes from San Francisco-ish. I think they said Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz is kind of near there, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit south of San Francisco.
Really cool. These dudes got it together. They're young and they haven't really gotten far, but you can tell by listening to their music that they're there. They just need that, you know, that step. Right on. That's really cool. Wow. See, Mark? Influence. Okay, well, I got a bunch of stuff to do, actually, and I'm sure you do. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Right on. And once again, this is going to be the show that's on June 8th and on TV on the 22nd, and, you know, we push it all. We tried to push it as hard that week.
Awesome. I will promote the shit out of it.
Right on. Okay. Well, it was nice talking to you, and if anytime you need anything, you got anything, hit me up, and we'll put it out there for sure.
Thanks.
All right.
You're awesome. It was great interviewing with you.
Thank you. You're really cool on the show. Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.